Hey you guys, it's Rachel here with Senza Tempo Cane Corso. So it's been a hot minute. I have been just trying to relax a little bit and doing some self-care. And so these are Nirvana and Trinity's puppies. The big, gigantic ones are Nirvana's, and the normal-sized ones are Trinity's. So Trinity puppy, and then 2 Trinity puppies here. Now I did have 3 Trinity puppies in here, but one of them just wasn't doing as well in here. She's just too small, and so I put her back with her mother. I tried to switch it out with a bigger one that Trinity had, but there was no way. Nirvana was like, nope, the bar is closed. She was not adding any more in. So, that's fine. Puppies are doing fantastic. These guys, their eyes are already beginning to open, which is pretty awesome. They are just massive cuddle. I cannot stop cuddling them. It's pretty ridiculous. They're just so fat and they're just so cute, and I've just never seen anything so cute in my life. I'm just gonna be honest. So we've been doing a lot of loving on them, but Nirvana's doing really good with her milk production. Super fantastic. No problems there at all. And I'm just really loving on everybody. This whelping box is, honestly, fantastic. The size of it is really good, and I like that a lot. Nirvana's the type where she sometimes will want to break, and what I like about it is it's big enough for her to kind of get away from them, and so that works. So, but yeah, she's quite the milk producer over here. So I'll bring you over to Trinity. All right. So this is the Trinity litter. This is Trinity. These are all of her babies. As you can see, her yoni has decreased back to a more normal size for a female that has just had a litter. She did naturally whelp 2 of them, and so, there was some stretching, but overall, it's back to normal. No big deal. Very, very normal thing to happen. I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 puppies in here with her, and they're all feeding very well. She's producing plenty of milk for them, and everybody is just doing nicely. Not gonna lie, I was a little afraid that we were gonna lose one. I think it's this one right here that I thought that we might lose. The one that's closest to her elbow. The feeding response wasn't quite as good yesterday, and she was kind of sleeping a lot and looked thinner, and she was crying a lot last night, and so I brought her in here, and honestly, wasn't really expecting much, and she's been quiet all day. And so she's eating, and usually, in my experience, if they're going to fade, they don't come back from that. They don't get better. So I think potentially that she was being just completely just pushed off and just wasn't getting any food. And so even though I was constantly putting her on, I think it's a combination of her being smaller and then also not so some puppies are lazier feeders. And so usually, that's why I tell people, typically the size difference that you see in the whelping box right now, so some of it is genetics, but some of it is just appetite. And as the litter gets older, it becomes more about appetite and less about genetics. Because what overall happens is that the puppy that has the greater feeding response is going to consume more calories and thus is going to grow and get bigger than the puppies that spend more time sleeping. And so this puppy was a very sleepy puppy. Is my finger yellow? Yeah. So, yeah. My fingernails look yellow. It's the combination of the red light, the heat lamp. You're a good girl. Yeah, you're a good girl. And so, anyway, so it was definitely a really good idea that we did the cesarean. I know. I'm gonna move it back a little bit. I don't know that we even need this on right now because I have it like 75 degrees in the house, and so she's probably a little toasty. So what I could do is just move the whole thing. Maybe that's what I'll do. Seeing as where the light is. You're a good girl. You're a good girl. We'll do it. We'll do that. Like that. That way it's not really on her. Perfect. And then we'll bring the light back over. Bring this light back over. And then this light back over. Or I guess we can't. So that light will have to be like that. Here we go. And then that light will be like that. What is making this thing so uneven? Oh, there's a towel. Okay. All right. Is that good? All right. That's as good as we're going to get, folks. As good as we're going to get, folks. Anyway, so now I can sit down on this couch. I haven't really evaluated for anything other than just gender at this point. We have 5 boys, and then what is going on out there? And seven girls. That big brindle one is a boy. It's the biggest puppy in the litter by far, man. He's a whole giant. I like that white one over there. It looks flashy. It's got the white toes and the big old white chest. I mean, the reality is that you don't actually want a lot of white in your litter, in your Corso. But anyway, to me it's kind of cute sometimes, so. Oh, little baby over there. Yeah, we do have our little pig rail up. Trinity was definitely out of it. And so I wanted to make sure. Come here, little baby. There you go. And so anyway, I wanted to make sure that she could relax without... you're a good girl. Yeah, you're a good girl. You go, baby. Yeah, I wanted to make sure that she could relax without worrying about puppies being behind her. Yeah, there are some really cute ones in here. All black and brindle. This one over here looks to be like a seal to me, like seal color. It's kind of like a brownish black. But anyway, I mean, you know, so far so good. So I'm really happy about it. I'm still not 100%, you know, convinced that we won't lose one yet, just because it's just one of those things where I think that normally I would think we were good, but Mona's litter taught me that it can, you know, fading puppy syndrome can happen. You know, as late as, like I said, three days. I don't think we're quite at 3 days yet. Maybe it was 4 days. I don't know. It was bad. So anyway, but I will say the fact that this puppy's been quiet and isn't crying like it was yesterday, to me says that more than likely this puppy will be fine. So I just wanted to I had other people asking me about the colostrum, and if we were going to be switching them. So I did switch them, but after I tried to start switching them back, it got harder because Nirvana was unwilling. Like, I tried to put that big brindle boy on her because I thought, you know, for sure that he would be able to compete with them. But she was like, nope, she made it very clear he was not welcome. And I was like, oh no. So I scooped his little booty up. And brought him back over here. And then what I did for the ones that I did take over there, because she really was targeting him. And so what I did with the other ones is there's a bug, is it's going to sound gross, but I rubbed them all over her yoni. You know, her, the discharge. I went ahead and I lathered up the puppy. So it smelled like her. So I know it's gross, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. But that one brindle one was not gonna make it. She knew. She was like, I only have 2 brindles. I don't need I don't know what it was, but something about that puppy. She was like, he's not welcome here. And I was like, okay, rude, but okay. But we're good though. We're really good. Everything seems good so far. So, hey, sweet baby. So we'll do one more breeding with Trinity in a year from now, because after a cesarean, you skip a heat. And so in a year, she'll be bred again. It'll be her last breeding, and then she will have a cesarean. She will not natural whelp. And we'll make sure to do progesterone testing. We'll track the pregnancy very closely, like we did with Blondie. And then she'll be spayed. And then that will be the end of my first generation Preacher Cashmere stock. I won't have any more of it. So I'll try to get what I can. I've always tried to maintain different partners for Trinity and Blondie to make sure that I get as much genetic diversity as I can out of that first cross with Preacher and Cashmere. And so I have Nirvana, which is Blondie and Achilles. I've got Hefe available to me, which is Blondie and Batista. I also have a puppy coming off of, well, I guess it doesn't really count because that's the second generation. So, and then out of Trinity, I have this female switch, which is off of Mad Mortigan and Trinity. And then I will be keeping a female off of this, which will be an import alpha in Trinity. And so I'll have 4 dogs available to me that are genetically the same on one side of the pedigree, meaning that we have the Preacher Cashmere, but then it'll be completely different and open on the other side, which is really good when you are trying to use as much as you can out of lines, if that makes sense. So and then, like I said, the next time I'll do Trinity again, and I'll put her to a different dog. And that way I'll have one more dog out of that last, that very first generation, which is really the foundation of my line. It's I will say the beginning of my line. Like, this is by no means my line yet. I would say that, like, Berlin, Ibiza, and like their offspring, now we're really getting into like my line. Like I believe that I can take credit for that. And so anyway, really exciting times. I'm just super glad that she's okay and that everything was good. I was extremely, extremely worried about her the whole time. And I'm just glad to know that it's over and that she's safe, and all the puppies made it, except for the 2 that, very likely, they wouldn't have made it no matter what. They weren't going to be born naturally, and by the time I got them to the vet, it was too late. So, very exact same thing that happened with Blondie on her second breeding. This was Trinity's 3rd breeding, and it's just bad luck. It's just when you have a female that has as many puppies as these girls do, it can happen. And I think that partially, I think it will be less likely to happen when I have bigger females, because I think part of it is the pressure. I really do think that she had so much pressure that it basically, too many puppies and too much pressure and it basically was causing her to, the puppies to like, you know, it causes problems. It causes puppies to die. It causes puppies to try to come out at the same time, things like that. So I think that now that I've been sizing up, that I should have less problems with that because I'm working away from the smaller females that, so anyway, and I know you think, well, don't the bigger females have just bigger puppies and it's the same thing? No, there isn't. The size differential between the females is not as great as the size differential between their puppies when they're born. That's what I will say. And so anyway, so that's what I'm doing. That's why I am kind of focusing like on this particular litter. Structure is probably not going to be my number one concern. Obviously, it's going to be a concern. I'm going to be looking for good structure, but I'm not going to like pick, say, like the smallest female in the litter just because she has fantastic structure. Like that would not help me in my current situation. In fact, like, oh, sorry, honey bear. The velocity, you're a good girl, you're a good girl. The velocity breeding is a perfect example of that right now, in that I already have, you're a good girl, I already have a female out of velocity, but that female is the same size as velocity. And I will say that velocity is really good. She's a nice thick female, and so she has an easier time with whelping. But, you know, to be safer, I really do need to be able to size up. So this next litter that I bred her to my Mortigan, she's pregnant right now, I'll be keeping back like the biggest female. Now, you know, obviously the only thing that would prevent me from doing that is if that biggest female had some kind of severe fault. Like, I don't like Mad Mortigan's shoulder lay. His shoulder is kind of like up, and so it makes his neck look shorter. Even though it's visually looks shorter because of the shoulder lay. And so like, I don't think I would keep a dog with that if it was a severe fault, but like, as long as the dog is, you know, doesn't have any severe faults, that's what I would say. And I would not say that his is a severe fault, but what I would say is that you don't want to, you know, any fault, whether it's a severe fault or not, you don't want to keep going into it like that. You want to breed away from it. So, yeah, so that's why I say that. So anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. I'm gonna get to it. I've got to go pick up some medication for my macaw, my blue and gold, and she's got something going on. She was losing some weight, and I took her in and we did some blood tests, and so they've got some medication for me I got to go pick up. So anyway, hope you guys are having a good day, and I will talk at you later. Bye.